you're not writing press releases. It's not a corporation writing press releases, because you have that. Instead, what you really should do is you find out what you're trying to do with your blog. If you're trying to recruit for a specific category, and celebrate the people that are in that category. If you are looking for salespeople, talk about sales. Talk about what they're doing. Talk about how your company enables salespeople. Because what you're trying to do is create a community of people that you want to reach. So the blog's not about you, it's about the people that you want to read your blog.
Questions. The other thing I thought about when I initially started blogging was, how are the search engines going to find me? So what are the keywords that people might be using out there? You know, get in the mind of that person that you want to reach and think, okay, what are they typing into a search engine? And really think about crafting some posts around those things. So I'll start with my opinion on the metrics question. I knew my blog was going to be successful when the Wall Street Journal called me. I'm not a big fan of using a large number of metrics. You know, page views. It's hard to tell who's looking at your blog. It's hard to tell how that blog post is changing people's perceptions. Companies spend thousands and thousands of dollars to try to measure that type of thing, and I didn't go into blogging with a budget. So for me, it was just where's my name getting out? You know, who's calling me? Things like, you know, being invited to speak on panels. You know, having other recruiters at Microsoft tell me that when they bring a marketing candidate in to interview, the candidate asks them if they know me because they've read my blog. I get anecdotal emails from people who've been hired at Microsoft that let me know that, you know, I help them prepare for their interviews, things like that. But for me, it has never really been about the numbers, because the employment brand is such an amorphous thing. It's really hard to kind of put a number value on that. So.
And Heather's blog's purpose was branding and marketing. So in those sense, she doesn't need the metrics to say the number of views. It really is, what is the effect? And you have to measure press mentions and other things. Dennis, you have a bit different, without actually sharing numbers, what type of effect have you seen from a recruiting standpoint?
Well, I think that certainly everybody always comes back to the how many have you hired question. And so, yeah, if you're looking for a way to, you know bottom line, did we make it higher? I can get there. I don't talk about mine. I made a hire last month, but I don't have the freedom to really talk about all the metrics. But I'll tell you this. This is not something that every one of us spend hours doing every day. I spend very little time. Now that I'm not going to say I know what I'm doing, but now that I've done it long enough where I can do it quickly and still provide some content, it's really not very much time every day, and it's just not about the hire. I told Heather today something I never told her before. By reading her blog, I really changed the structure of my blog. It made me think about my audience. There are a lot of blogs focused on the recruiting environment, and I thought, okay, I'm not the smartest recruiter, but do they need one more recruiting expert telling you guys what to do? Maybe not. But there's a big audience of people that are looking for jobs, all right? So that's why I decided to change my focus toward the job seeker. And so if you get involved with the community, if you participate, you're going to see some kind of return, I think. I'm not saying overnight. It does take time, and I probably, for maybe a year, just did a lot of reading of blogs and learning what was going on and how I would maybe address my blog, or how I would approach my audience. But I don't have to look too far today to see the return. If you are a recruiter and you don't like exposure, don't blog. If you want people to find out who you are, don't blog. I'm not up here because I'm the smartest recruiter, right? I just happen to get involved with communities.
It's actually not as large of a volume as you would think. It's not the same as putting your name on a job posting. And I think part of that is you tell people what you're looking for, so they do a little bit better job of self-selecting when they're thinking about sending you their resume. I also have a staffing associate on my team that helps me manage the volume, and I send an email template. It is a very personalized non-template looking email template that I send out to people to acknowledge that I've received their resume. It's in the same voice that I use on the blogs, and it's coming from me, so they feel comfortable that they're getting a response, and I'm just very clear about what I've done with their resume. So we've got kind of an internal process in terms of just matching up some of those candidates with some of our opportunities, but it's not, it's not hundreds of resumes a month. Part of, and this might be where Dennis and I are a little different, so he is actively soliciting resumes via his blog, but for me, the ideal scenario is that when I'm inspiring someone's interest in Microsoft, they wouldn't necessarily just need to send their resume to me. They might go to our career site, or they might call up their friend who works in a division and ask to be referred, and that kind of brings up some of the difficulty in tracking some of the success of the blog. So I'm really just trying to get in front of people and make them interested versus necessarily having them send me their resume. And that's why you probably don't see on the blog very frequently that I'm, kind of saying, hey, send me your resume. People, will do it if they want, but it's not a huge volume.